So today, I want to talk about my day and I want to address a little bit of my history in light of some of the things that have been said in the comments. But today, I came to a different city to spend time with my aunt, who, for all intents and purposes, was like a second mother to me growing up. Because I was the type of kid growing up that was fragile. I was. I was an emotional kid. And I always felt like I didn't belong. And so my aunt was the type of person who I felt I could trust and whom I often spent time with as a level of support. And spending the day with her today was so meaningful. It was so valuable because we had such real, honest, authentic conversations, meaningful conversations. Hard questions were asked, questions that I could not answer without crying. And sometimes getting angry and actually yelling and feeling volatile and being like, hey, I need to apologize because I'm not able to regulate my emotions right now and being able to work through all of the things that I'm feeling. So let me provide a little bit of background history. I'm going to give a little rundown of my life because so many of the comments have been like, you're only handling HIV, get over yourself, you're just taking a medication once a day, and I have all of these other conditions and I've lost friends and you have no idea what you're talking about, and how dare you get on live and talk about your life. Well, guess what? This is my TikTok account. I can do whatever I want, and I'm going to, because this is my life. And you don't know anything about me other than the fact of what you have learned that I have told you, which is that I have been diagnosed with HIV. That's all you know. Beyond that, you might know that I'm a professional because I've shared that. But things you might not know is that when I was 6 years old, I was in a car wreck. It was so severe that it resulted in me having a traumatic brain injury. I was actually in a coma for 6 days. Doctors didn't think that I would survive. They thought I had a broken back, broken collarbones, and they didn't think that I would actually survive. But I did. And then, if we fast forward, because of that, because of the traumatic brain injury, I was always overly emotional. I always felt like I couldn't fit in. Always. I needed that extra validation. I needed that extra support. I was that kind of kid. Partially because of the trauma that I'd been through with the head injury, but also just because of my emotional capacity, because I didn't feel like I belonged, specifically in the town that I grew up in. And then if we fast forward, I went through conversion therapy, in which case I was sent to a program to try to make me straight, because God, the foundation by which I was born and raised into, told me that being gay was a sin, and that by accepting myself as gay, I would actually go to hell. And I didn't want to go to hell. I wanted to go to heaven when I died. So I would do anything and everything I possibly could to not go to hell. So I admitted myself into a substance use treatment facility that agreed that if God had the power to heal the alcoholic, he could heal the homosexual. And from that experience, I endured an extreme amount of trauma. So much trauma that I actually wrote and published my own memoir entitled Finally Free, A Surrender to Authenticity. Catch it? Authenticity. Because that is what I'm all about. Why I'm creating these TikToks. I'm being authentic. Whether you like it or not, this is my TikTok account, and I will do with it as I like, because I'm going to be authentic. And if you don't like it, you can scroll. It's incredible. Believe it or not, it's this incredible thing called TikTok where you don't have to watch the video. But sure, come into my comments and tell me how bad you had it and how easy I have it. Make those assumptions. But you're right. There's a huge difference between getting HIV in the 80s and 90s versus in 2025. But it doesn't take away any of the religious trauma that I experienced. It doesn't take away any of the major depressive disorder that I experienced and still experience due to a traumatic brain injury. It doesn't diminish the fact that I have to take 7 to 8 medications a day, 3 anticonvulsants, 2 psychiatric medications, and on top of that now 2 antiretrovirals. So don't even. And on top of all of that, I'm at risk of having seizures right now because I'm titrating off of the number 1 anticonvulsant that I have been on since my first seizure back in the early 2000s. So I'm at risk of having an aura. I'm at risk of having a grand mal seizure because that's the type of seizures I have because I have a traumatic brain injury. But sure, come into my comment section and tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. Come and talk to me about how my feelings are invalid. But I don't really care what you have to say because I know that my feelings are valid. And I know that I have a right to have those feelings. I know that I have a right to process those feelings. I know that I have a right to shed light on the significant impact of religious trauma, the significant impact of coming to terms with an illness that you will have the remainder of your life, whether or not there is treatment that helps you reduce it. Stigma still exists. If you don't believe it, just read my comments. I got a little heated there, didn't I? It makes me so mad when people make assumptions. Because you don't know my story, you don't know my history, and you're just coming in here and being rude and disrespectful, and it really pisses me off. Because you don't know me. So, check yourself before you wreck yourself. And maybe show a little kindness and compassion. Because that's really what we need in this world. There you go.